Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, wondering why your mind is racing when your body feels so tired? Maybe you toss and turn, look at the clock, and think, how is it already 3 a.m. and I'm still awake? Or maybe you do fall asleep, only to wake up an hour later and struggle to drift back off. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, sleep changes. That's just a fact. But that doesn't mean we have to accept poor sleep as something we can't fix. The truth is, there are small, sneaky things that can steal your sleep without you even realizing it. And after 65, when your body needs deep rest more than ever to keep your mind sharp, your immune system strong, and your energy up, it's more important than ever to protect your sleep like it's gold. You see, sleep is not just about feeling rested. It's about giving your body time to heal, your brain time to clean up and recharge, and your emotions time to settle. When you don't sleep well, everything feels just a little bit harder, doesn't it? You feel foggy, more irritable, maybe even more anxious. And the problem is, the things that interrupt our sleep aren't always obvious. Sometimes it's the little habits we picked up along the way, things we don't think twice about, that quietly sabotage our nights. That's what we're talking about today. The quiet traps that sneak into your evenings and mess with your sleep. Some of them might surprise you, others might feel familiar, but you may not realize just how much they're affecting you. And don't worry, this isn't about adding stress or giving you a long list of rules. It's about awareness. It's about giving you the tools to take back your evenings and your rest so you can feel good again, not just during the day, but all night long too. So let's start with something a lot of folks do without even thinking twice. You've had a long day. Maybe you cooked dinner, tidied up a bit, took a phone call from a friend or your daughter. The sun sets, it gets quiet, and you reach for the remote. Just a couple of episodes of a good show to unwind, right? But here's where it can get tricky. The first nighttime trap that often sneaks up on people after 65 is using screens too close to bedtime. Whether it's TV, your tablet, or even scrolling through your phone, it's not just the content that can keep you awake. It's the light. You see, screens give off something called blue light, and your brain, even at this age, is still wired to respond to light cues. When your eyes take in that blue light, your brain gets confused. It says, oh, it must still be daytime. Better keep the body alert. That means it doesn't release the melatonin you need to start winding down. Even if your body feels tired, your brain is still buzzing. I had a neighbor, Mary, who used to watch her favorite British crime dramas late into the night. She said she'd feel sleepy while watching, but once she turned off the TV and got into bed, her mind would suddenly perk up and start replaying every plot twist. It took her hours to fall asleep. Once she started turning off the screens an hour earlier and switched to reading a paperback book or listening to soft music, her sleep changed dramatically. Not overnight, but within a week, she noticed she was falling asleep faster and waking up less often. And it's not just about falling asleep. Blue light messes with the quality of sleep too. You might still sleep for 7 or 8 hours, but you won't get the deep, restorative kind. It's like charging your phone, but only getting it to 40%. You wake up, but you're not fully recharged. Now, I'm not saying don't enjoy your favorite shows. By all means, enjoy them. Just think about watching them a little earlier in the evening. Give yourself a wind-down buffer. Dim the lights in your home as bedtime approaches. Let your body know that rest is on the way. The second trap is one a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it affects more of us than we think. And that's nighttime worry. That habit of replaying the day's events, or stewing over tomorrow's plans, or wondering about health, family, money. Whatever it is that tends to creep in once the lights go out and the distractions are gone. You know that feeling. You finally lie down, you're trying to relax, and suddenly your brain goes into overdrive. Did I remember to call the doctor? What if the test results come back bad? What if I forgot to pay that bill? One thought leads to another, and before you know it, your heart's racing and you're wide awake. Worry at night feels different than worry during the day. It's lonelier, it's heavier, and somehow it always feels bigger in the dark. That's why managing it has to become a part of your sleep routine, especially after 65. Because your brain doesn't turn off just because your body wants to. You have to guide it gently toward rest. I once spoke with a gentleman named Carl, who kept a little notebook beside his bed. Each night before he brushed his teeth, he'd jot down a few things that were weighing on his mind. Not long entries, just a few sentences. He called it his worry journal. Once the thoughts were on paper, he gave himself permission to let them go until morning. It didn't erase his problems, but it gave him a boundary, something his mind could accept as closure for the night. Others find it helpful to create a calming bedtime ritual, something that signals to the brain, we're safe and it's time to rest. That could be a short meditation, a warm shower, some slow breathing exercises, or even a favorite calming scent like lavender. It doesn't have to be complicated. The key is consistency. When your brain learns the pattern, it starts to respond more quickly, and you fall asleep more easily. Now, sometimes worry isn't even about a specific thought. It's more of a feeling, a tension in the chest, a restlessness. If that's the case, moving your body gently during the day, maybe with a morning walk or light stretching, can help burn off that excess energy so it doesn't follow you into bed. And don't underestimate the power of talking things out. Whether it's with a friend, a family member, or someone you trust, sometimes speaking your worries aloud in the light of day helps them lose their grip in the dark of night. Sleep after 65 is different, yes, but it's not impossible. And more importantly, you deserve restful, deep sleep. Not just because it helps you feel better during the day, but because it helps you enjoy your life more fully. Your body does important work at night, repairing, restoring, refreshing your brain and your heart. And when you give yourself that gift of rest, you're saying to yourself, I matter. My well-being matters. My peace matters. Now that we've talked about how screens and worry can sneak in and steal your rest, let's move on to another common trap that often hides in plain sight, and this one might catch you off guard because it's something many people think actually helps them sleep. But it can do just the opposite. I'm talking about that little nightcap. A glass of wine before bed, maybe a small pour of whiskey to take the edge off. It's a habit that feels relaxing, right? And sometimes, in the moment, it really does feel like it helps you drift off. But here's the tricky part. Alcohol can make you feel sleepy at first, but it actually disrupts your sleep later on. And for folks over 65, the effect is even stronger. See, as we age, our bodies don't process alcohol the same way. Your liver slows down a bit, and even small amounts can stay in your system longer. That means the relaxing glass of wine at 9 p.m. could be quietly messing with your sleep well after midnight. What happens is, alcohol can push you into sleep faster, but it prevents your body from getting into that deep, restful stage of sleep. And then, a few hours later, it causes something called a rebound effect, where you suddenly wake up, sometimes sweaty or restless, and find it hard to get back to sleep. And I know, it's hard to think that something that feels so cozy in the moment could be one of the reasons you're tossing and turning at 2 a.m. But I've had people tell me they never made the connection until they took a short break from drinking in the evenings and suddenly found themselves sleeping more soundly than they had in years. It doesn't mean you have to give up a glass of wine forever, especially if it's something you enjoy with dinner or in a social setting, but it's worth noticing the timing and quantity. Try shifting that glass earlier in the evening, say around dinner, and then switch to something non-alcoholic as bedtime gets closer. Herbal tea can be a great alternative. Chamomile, peppermint, lemon balm, they're not just soothing, but they help your body recognize it's time to wind down. One woman I spoke with, Janet, loved her nightly red wine. She said it helped her ease into the night, but she also said she was waking up every night around 2:30 like clockwork. I suggested she experiment, just for a week, by swapping her wine for a warm mug of tea and a cozy blanket on the couch. She laughed, said it felt like a grandma thing, but gave it a shot. A few days in, she sent me a message. I slept through the whole night, for the first time in months. Sometimes the smallest change brings the biggest surprise. Another sneaky thing about alcohol is that it makes you more likely to snore or experience sleep apnea symptoms. It relaxes the muscles in your throat too much. So if you or your partner have noticed more snoring lately, or if you're waking up feeling groggy even after a full night, it might be something to think about. And don't worry, this isn't about guilt or giving up everything you enjoy. It's just about giving your body the best chance to truly rest. Because you deserve a night that restores you, not one that leaves you even more tired than before. Now, there's one more trap I want to talk about today, and it's one that flies under the radar for a lot of people. It's all about temperature. Have you ever gone to bed feeling perfectly fine, only to wake up sweating in the middle of the night? Or maybe you wake up chilly and can't quite get back to sleep. That's not just a coincidence. Our body temperature naturally drops at night to help us fall asleep and stay asleep. But if your bedroom is too warm or too cold, it can mess with that process. Here's something to think about. Many people over 65 feel colder during the day, so it's only natural to want to make your home cozy and warm at night. You pile on extra blankets, maybe crank up the heat a little bit more than usual, but all that warmth can backfire. If your body can't cool down the way it needs to, it can actually keep you in lighter stages of sleep or wake you up entirely. One man I met at a local community group, George, had this exact problem. He loved flannel pajamas, thick socks, heavy quilts, you name it. But every morning he'd wake up tired and groggy. I suggested trying lighter bedding and keeping the room a little cooler at night. Somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees is usually ideal. At first he thought I was nuts. "I'll freeze," he said. But after a few nights with just a lightweight comforter and a breathable pair of cotton pajamas, he admitted he felt like he'd had his first real rest in months. If you're someone who likes feeling warm and cozy, me too. But here's a little tip. Instead of making the whole room hot, try using a heating pad or warm compress on your feet or lower back for a few minutes before bed. That can give you that cozy comfort without overheating you once you're asleep. Or wear warm socks, which help regulate your body temperature by opening up blood vessels in your feet. Sounds strange, but it really works. Also, think about what your bedding is made of. Heavy fabrics like polyester can trap heat and sweat, while natural materials like cotton or bamboo are breathable and help regulate temperature. Even something as small as changing your pillow can make a difference. Some pillows actually trap heat around your head, which makes your whole body uncomfortable. And don't forget the power of airflow. A quiet fan or slightly open window can help keep the air fresh and cool without making you too cold. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your body can relax into sleep and stay there. When your bedroom is the right temperature, when your evenings are free of those hidden sleep stealers like alcohol and racing thoughts, and when your routine gently leads you into rest instead of away from it, sleep starts to feel like a gift again, not a fight. There's nothing quite like waking up and realizing you slept through the night, is there? No 3 a.m. alarm from your brain, no tossing and turning, just a soft morning light and a body that feels ready for the day. That feeling is possible, even after 65, even after years of struggling. Next, we'll talk about one more key area that many people overlook, and it could make all the difference in your journey to better sleep. And this last one might not seem like a trap at all at first glance. In fact, many people think of it as part of their evening routine. But if you've ever found yourself staring at the ceiling longer than you'd like, or waking up in the middle of the night feeling unsettled or restless, it might be time to take a closer look at what you're doing right before bed. Let's talk about stimulation, not the obvious kind, like loud music or running laps around the block. I'm talking about the kind that sneaks in through screens, conversations, and even the books we read. That mental buzz that seems harmless but can keep your brain humming long after your head hits the pillow. Think about this. Have you ever been watching a news segment late at night and felt your heart rate go up a little? Maybe it's a heated political debate or some alarming health story, or even just an intense episode of your favorite crime show. Even if you tell yourself it's just TV, your body doesn't always get the memo. It reacts. Your heart beats faster, your muscles stay alert, your thoughts start spinning, and before you know it, you're lying there wide awake, replaying it all in your mind. Or maybe it's not the news, maybe it's scrolling on your phone, a quick peek at Facebook or a glance at the headlines, a message from someone that brings up an old memory or stirs up a bit of worry. That blue light from your screen is part of the problem. It tells your brain, hey, stay awake. But it's also the content we take in. It stimulates your brain in just the wrong way at just the wrong time. One woman, Barbara, told me she always liked to read before bed. "Helps me wind down," she said. But when I asked what she was reading, she said it was a mystery novel. Lots of suspense, cliffhangers, and tension. Every chapter ended in a what happens next kind of way. That's not winding down, that's ramping up. I suggested she try switching to something lighter in the evening, poetry or a gentle memoir, or even a magazine with short, relaxing articles. And what do you know? A few days later, she said she was falling asleep faster and waking up feeling calmer. It's not about cutting everything out of your evenings, it's about softening them, giving your mind permission to ease into rest instead of powering through more stimulation. If you enjoy watching something before bed, make it something peaceful. Nature shows, lighthearted comedies, old feel-good movies. Things that leave you feeling warm and settled instead of stirred up. The hour before sleep is sacred. It's when your body and mind prepare to heal, to recharge. And you deserve that peaceful transition. So give yourself that gift. Dim the lights, turn off the screens a little earlier. Maybe put on some calming music or nature sounds. Stretch gently, breathe deeply. Do a few minutes of quiet reflection or gratitude. Nothing fancy, just simple, calming rituals that remind your body it's time to rest. I once met a man named Raymond who had been struggling with sleep for years. He tried pills, special pillows, expensive mattresses, but none of it stuck. When we talked, I asked about his evenings. He said they usually ended with TV, a drink, and a scroll through the news on his tablet. We made a little plan. For 1 week, he'd turn off the screens an hour before bed. He'd sip a calming tea, listen to music he loved from his younger days, and write down 3 things he was grateful for. Nothing complicated, but after 4 nights, he called me up and said, "I haven't felt this rested since I was 50. Sometimes it really is the little things, the tweaks, the gentle shifts in what we allow into our minds and bodies before we sleep. And those shifts can ripple out into the rest of your life. Because sleep isn't just about closing your eyes, it's about giving your body the space to heal, your brain to process, your heart to rest. When you sleep well, everything works better. Your memory, your mood, your energy, even your immune system. And the beautiful part is, it's never too late to improve it. So tonight, as you start to settle in, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are you truly winding down? Or are there little traps stealing that peace from you? Is your room cool and quiet? Are you easing your mind or still buzzing from the day? Are you giving your body the calm, gentle lead-in it craves, or unintentionally keeping it in on mode? Just noticing is the first step. And then step by step, you can build an evening that supports you, one that honors your need for rest, your desire for peace, and your right to feel good in the morning. You don't have to overhaul everything. You don't need a perfect routine. Just a few conscious choices can lead you to deeper, more nourishing sleep. And if you've been struggling with this, please know you're not alone. So many people over 65 wrestle with sleep, and not because they're doing something wrong, but because no one ever told them how their bodies and brains change with time. But you can adapt, you can thrive, you can sleep well again. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. You've already taken the most important step, caring enough about your well-being to learn, to listen, and to make a change. And that's powerful. Now I'd love to hear from you. What helps you sleep better at night? Or what's been your biggest challenge? Let's talk in the comments. I read everyone, and your story might just help someone else feel a little less alone. If this video helped you, go ahead and give it a like. It really supports the channel and helps this information reach more folks who might need it. And if you'd like more tips like this, don't forget to subscribe. We talk about health, joy, and aging well, without the fluff or fear. You deserve nights that restore you and mornings that lift you up. Sleep is not just for the young, it's for you right now and always. Here's to deeper sleep, brighter mornings, and living your best life at any age. You've got this.